Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hoops and Huddles. I wanted to do an instant reaction to that Warriors-Kings playoff game that we just witnessed. Full disclaimer, if the Warriors had won game one, I don't think I would have done this video, just because, in a young team like the Sacramento Kings, you expect there is going to be some level of adjustment that needs to happen. And if the Warriors were going to win one road game in this series, I was going to say it would quite obviously be game one. In fact, I even put money on them to win game one. But what we saw tonight was absolutely exceptional from the Sacramento Kings. I mean, they came out the gate struggling for that first half. Malik Monk was really solid, but De'Aaron Fox kind of struggled. Sabonis was all over the place. I'll get to him in a moment. But the Kings in general, they really did not look like themselves at all. I mean, they still managed to keep the game relatively close, but man, it was not the same Kings team that we've seen for this entire season. But in that second half, they completely flipped a switch. I don't know if it was just like De'Aaron Fox said, getting used to that physicality in the first half, but he turned it on. Malik Monk, like I said in my last video regarding this, he did exactly what I expected from him. He got over 30 points. Like, this guy is an absolute revelation. He is going to be a max level player, I promise you. He should be sixth man of the year. This guy is just phenomenal. And, I have so many good things to say about Malik Monk. But him and De'Aaron Fox are such a crazy tandem. And it's so cool watching them play the Golden State Warriors of all teams, because they kind of do remind me of like a Steph and Klay sort of scenario. Now, obviously, both of them drive more than Klay Thompson drives. But just in terms of like this elite shooting, and then behind Mike Brown's offensive system that he took from the Golden State Warriors, I mean, it just seems like a younger version of that duo in the making. Like, they have their own Splash Brothers duo in Sacramento. So I think that's really cool. I also wanted to touch on, let me focus on some of the Sacramento Kings positives first, before I get to the Warriors. I think Trey Lyles, phenomenal game. Him and Harrison Barnes. I mean, Harrison Barnes was, again, kind of up and down, but they hit huge shots that changed the momentum of this game. Trey Lyles kept it close enough in that first half, with some of the threes that he hit, and then he started hitting threes in the third, and it's like, okay, that really propelled the Kings to get their momentum going and get their feet under them. Another factor that I didn't think would have played into it, but I should have thought that, the benefit of this being a younger, inexperienced team is they don't have that sort of traction on their bodies. I mean, the Warriors, obviously, with the number of title runs that they've gone on, they are older players, and it's like we see that by the end of that game, the Warriors just looked a step slow, all of them. Draymond looked really hobbled. Steph really looked really slow. Same with Klay. It was just, I watched them and I said, man, like, the Kings are just faster, all around a faster team. And I think that's going to be a key element if the Kings actually do win this series, and that, that speed is going to be a reason why. And then, like, I'm even thinking, let's say if they meet the Grizzlies, okay, maybe that doesn't play as big of a factor, but let's say they do meet the Lakers in the next round. I think that is one of the scariest components of this team. It's like, is LeBron James and Anthony Davis, are they going to be able to chase these guys around the court? Like, I don't think so. That speed for the Kings is so unique to them, and that brand that Mike Brown has brought to that court and that team, overall, I was highly, highly impressed. And I do like that the Kings, who have been an absolute joke for so long, kind of do finally get a win. It would have been a bit awkward. I mean, they were talking about how long it's been since they've had their first home win. If they didn't get it, it would have kind of felt flat. But it was cool for them. I mean, I was always a big DeMarcus Cousins fan when he was there. That was kind of the only time I was ever really keeping up with the Kings. But it's cool to see them win. I'm very happy for them as a team. Now, on the other side of this, when you look at the Golden State Warriors, I think that this spells trouble for them. I think this really spells trouble for them, because obviously their road struggles this season have been documented. Even with Andrew Wiggins, their road struggles have been documented. And Andrew Wiggins played as good as you could possibly think he was going to play. Now, he had a much stronger first half than a second half, but I mean, he's only going to get better. And if I'm being completely honest, I thought he was going to have an abysmal game just because of how long he's been away from the team. But it looks like he's really kept himself in shape. He has that mindset where he still knows his role. It really didn't look at all like there was rust at all. So I'm pretty impressed with Andrew Wiggins all around. Klay Thompson did his thing. He's just post injury, like he's just obviously not the player he was, and that has to worry Warriors fans to an extent. I mean, sometimes he hits these threes and it's like, man, like only Klay Thompson or Steph Curry could do this. But other times he does look old, and he does look, a bit slow. And I think in a couple years, I mean, they're really gonna have a discussion about what they do with Klay. I mean, he's such a core piece. I know Draymond, there's been all sorts of talks about this could be Draymond's last year with the Warriors. I don't want to get into that right now. And I'm getting way ahead of myself because at the end of the day, this is only game one. But I'm trying to think of all the things that would go through a Warriors fan's head after a game like this. I mean, they came out, they put in a lot of effort. You could tell they were not messing around at all. They wanted to win this game. They wanted to secure home court advantage early, and this was their best shot to do that. We have the third quarter that, one of their staples for someone who's followed the Warriors for a while is having a strong third quarter, and the Kings managed to kind of turn it around on them. And the Kings had the big third quarter, and they're the ones that came back, and it really, I think, destabilized the groove that the Warriors had gotten into out of that first half. So I don't know where you go from here. I mean, I don't think they win game two. I think this was kind of their big punch on the road, and now they're thinking, okay, wait till we get home. We're going to try and even this series up 2-2. I think that's probably where their mindset's going to be. One thing that, man, this will never not bother me. As much as I respect Draymond Green so much, I think this guy is routinely like a top 3 defensive player in the league. But man, like some of the stuff that this guy does just infuriates me. Like the end of the game where he's like falling backwards on Sabonis, and it's like it's on the league as well, because why aren't the refs looking at that? They know Draymond. The refs all know Draymond. Like, why aren't they calling him out on that? Why aren't they blowing that a whistle and blowing that play dead and saying like that's a foul? It's just something he gets away with all the time. I hate the expression that a lot of the color commentators will use. They'll say like, oh, X player and X player got tangled up. It's like, no, they didn't, man. Like, these players are purposely doing things and fouling each other in, trying to be sneaky with it, and the refs let this stuff happen. It's frustrating. But that aside, I also wanted to talk about the matchup that I highlighted in my last video between Kevon Looney and Sabonis. Like, I don't think Looney had a really strong first half defensively as well. He was boxing out well. He was getting those rebounds. Sabonis couldn't get anything done. And the primary defenders were Draymond and Kevon Looney. So credit to them. I do think that Looney faltered a bit in the second half, and he started committing these fouls. I can't remember what quarter it was. I think it's the fourth. It was like 5 fouls to 1. And next thing you know, the Kings are in the bonus because Kevon Looney couldn't keep his hands to himself. So that was definitely an issue with him. And Sabonis did make some okay plays in the fourth quarter. Overall, it was a terrible game for him, really. But I expect that he'll get a little more comfortable next game. Regardless, that's my reaction to game one of Kings versus Warriors. It's still early. We'll see what happens. This could be a long series. It was a great game. Phenomenal game, really. Malik Monk is a revelation. I'm telling you guys this. This guy is phenomenal. And I look forward to game two. I think this has potential to be a classic series if we have these sorts of games for the next 5, 6, however long this series lasts. Anyways, talk to you guys soon.